love jab, but sweet and hot. Whoop, Mr. Motor, I'm a coffee spot.
Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hello, everybody, and it's another Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. So glad you guys are all here to join us. We got a lot of fun planned for this show, and let's just start like we always do. First and foremost, I am the incredible Jeff.
I am the mother of content.
Damn right you are.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'. And basically, we've been doing this show now for a long time on Facebook Live, and I know that a lot of people are tuning in right on over on the Death Wish Coffee Company Facebook page because we're live over there. And in the last month, we have been simulcasting over on our Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/DeathWishCoffee. And you can tune in over on Twitch if you like to do that as well. Tonight is really special because for the first time ever, we're doing both of those. And at the exact same time, we are over on YouTube. So
Yay!
if you don't want to be on Facebook, you don't want to be on Twitch, you can go on over to the Death Wish Coffee Company YouTube page and watch us live over there. And what's great about YouTube is it's just like Twitch. You can watch any stream that's happening and you don't have to sign in. But, I mean, you guys all have YouTube accounts, right? YouTube's like through your Gmail, basically. Like, it's super easy to join. And if you do have a YouTube account, you can watch us, follow, and comment. And that could win you something.
Yeah, and it happens to be 3 of the same thing this week.
You see them all right there. Right there. This is our St. Patrick's Day mug from this year.
Yes.
And we love doing this mug. It was a guest artist who did this. It's St. Patrick fighting the demon Querhanok.
Yes.
And I just decided, because it's our first time simulcasting on 3 separate platforms, it would be easy to give away the same mug on all 3 platforms. But that's not going to be the case moving forward. In the weeks and months to follow, we're going to give away different stuff on every single platform.
Yes.
To entice different people to be on different platforms.
So to be entered to win one of these mugs on all 3 platforms, drop a comment below. Let us know that you're here. Interact with us during the show. Share us on Facebook if you're watching there. Host us on your stream on Twitch. And just keep on commenting. Keep the conversation going. Jeff and I have these comments in front of us live that we like to interact with throughout the show.
Yeah. So one lucky comment on each platform will be picked after the show is over. So when we sign off on Facebook, a lucky comment will be picked. On Twitch, a lucky comment will be picked in those comment sections. And also over on YouTube. Now, Twitch and YouTube is a little bit different because it's a little bit harder because when the stream ends, those comments end. But I will do my best to interact with you guys and make sure that the winner knows that they won, and you guys can always find out about that as well. Hello to everybody just joining us on YouTube. It's awesome that we actually have some viewers on YouTube for our first time ever.
Woo!
And the comments are flying by our face over on Facebook and Twitch. So thank you guys so much for joining us on the show tonight. And everything we do here, everything at Fueled by Deathcast, would be nothing without the voice of death himself, Brock Powell.
Yay, Brock.
And I wanted to mention, if any of you guys are over on the West Coast, specifically California, near the Universal Studios Hollywood experience out there, you're definitely going to want to go to the Universal Studios Hollywood Horror Nights this year because their entire theme is Ghostbusters. You get to go through the maze and basically relive that iconic movie from 1984. And our very own Brock Powell lent his voice to some of those iconic characters, including a couple of the Ghostbusters and Slimer. So you get to hear him scare the pants off of you if you get to go to that. And if you
we
do,
should go.
Take pictures because it looks pretty awesome.
Can we go?
I want to go.
We could do a show from there.
Oh, my God. That'd be amazing.
We can put GoPros on us and go get scared.
Yes. Yes. I freaking love it. I love it. Awesome. So the other thing for all you guys tuning in, whether, again, if you're on Facebook or Twitch or for the first time ever over on YouTube Live, you all get a special discount code.
You do. Woo! Yay! Use the code Mother of Content, all one word, on deathwishcoffee.com for 12% off of your entire order. So if you want to stock up on a new mug that might be coming out tomorrow or something else that might be coming out soon, Mother of Content, people, please.
All one word. In fact, I think I got that new graphic that I keep forgetting to put up there. There it is.
There it is.
Mother of Content.
It
12% off every single order. And, I mean, we're always coming out with new, amazing stuff. New and amazing stuff. And you guys are going to definitely want to stick around for the end of the show tonight on the update, because we're going to reveal some brand new stuff.
Never been seen. Can't talk. Jeff's evil laugh is coming out. That's when you know it's going to be good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And one of them is Zach Wilde approved. So that gives you a little idea.
Drop a comment with guesses.
Oh, my gosh. We're so excited. And you guys are going to get a sneak peek of tomorrow's brand new podcast with special guest Niles Dineen from Dineen Pottery, the company that makes these amazing mugs that you see before you. And I loved talking with him. I can't wait for you guys to see that full episode premiering tomorrow. But I got a sneak peek for you tonight. And also, we're going to meet this week's Death Star of the Week. But first, let's jump right into science, because we got some really cool news from space this week.
Space!
Science!
Welcome to Science this week. This week we've got some news from space. A new interstellar comet has been discovered, or we're at least 99% sure that it's a comet and that it's interstellar. The object, designated C2019Q4, was discovered on August 30th, 2019 by Gennady Borisov at the Margot Observatory in Crimea. Now, this new comet is still inbound towards the sun, but it will remain farther than the orbit of Mars and will approach no closer to Earth than about 190 million miles. David Farnocchia of NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies at JPL said the comet's current velocity is high, about 93,000 miles per hour, which is well above the typical velocities of objects orbiting the sun at that distance. The high velocity indicates not only that the object likely originated from outside our solar system, but also that it will leave and head back to interstellar space. Now, why this is so surprising and startling is because we finally have the technology to even look for this kind of stuff. Probably since the dawn of man, the dawn of human history, interstellar objects have been, flying in and out of our solar system. We just haven't been able to track them or even know about them until very, very recently. Karen Meech, the astronomer at the University of Hawaii, who actually made critical observations on the first interstellar object, Oumuamua, she said this one is spectacular compared to the first one, where we had effectively only a week to observe it. So you had to write your proposals, observe it, get the observations down, reduce the data, and we managed to pull all of that together for a paper in about a week. But this one, we have the luxury of lots of time. Many of the scientists' favorite instruments aren't even physically capable of seeing this brand new object. Basically because it's coming in at our solar system at the sun. So Meech went on to say, with small telescopes, you can point as close to the horizon as you wish. And so anyone that has that sort of telescope can easily observe it now. The really big telescopes that you would want to use to do the science have pretty significant limits to how close to the horizon they point. So many of the big ones can't get to it until mid to late October. Now, To break that down, telescopes in the northern hemisphere will be able to study this new comet until about January, when southern hemisphere telescopes will take over the task. By October 2020, it's been calculated that it will be nearly impossible to spot, speeding past the sun on its way to visit probably a new world and a new solar system. But now that they have this comet and they know that this comet exists, they can watch for about a year. So scientists are thrilled. That's way much more data than a week. And if you remember when Oumuamua, the interstellar object, the cigar-shaped, elongated, strange object from another world, came into our solar system, and we only had a week really to discern it, originally was thought to be a comet. And then it was kind of having an identity crisis, which was kind of interesting. That part is because they couldn't see any gas or dust that they could study to understand what the object was made of. The new interstellar comet, this new one, is cocooned in basically space gunk that these telescopes can analyze. Their results will tell scientists whether the comet's home solar system matches ours in terms of whether the proportion of different chemicals follows the same basic recipe. So if this comet's recipe is different than our own solar systems, this could be a very important scientific discovery. This could be giving us insight into what might be out there beyond our backyard, beyond our solar system. So it's not only exciting that we have another interstellar object to study and for a much longer period of time, but this could yield results about the universe that we can't even fathom at this point. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to get from this? It's really exciting that we just discovered it, and we have a year to really gain as much data and knowledge as we possibly can about this really interesting visitor from another world. Back here on Earth, NASA took home 2 Creative Arts Emmys for their work chronicling some of their missions. In fact, both of them we talked about on this very science segment, so I thought it was cool to kind of bookend that and congratulate NASA on their 2 Emmys. NASA's efforts to engage a broader audience in exploration through the use of social media and online features was recognized just the last week by the Creative Emmy Awards for interactive programming. During the ceremonies, the Academy of Television and Arts and Sciences recognized NASA for its coverage of a Mars mission and the agency's first test of a spacecraft that will bring crewed launches to the International Space Station and back to the U.S. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine tweeted, "Congrats to all involved and those who helped tell the NASA story every day." So the first Emmy they won was for NASA and SpaceX. On September 14th, a team from NASA's Kennedy Space Center and SpaceX won that of the category of Outstanding Interactive Program for Multimedia Coverage of Demonstration Mission 1, a test flight of the SpaceX Crew Dragon to the International Space Station, the first human-rated spacecraft to lift off from U.S. soil since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. And we covered that right on this segment. It was when they sent up the plush Earth that came up to the astronauts at the International Space Station. It was really cool. Demonstration Mission 1 was made possible by NASA's Commercial Crew Program, which is paving the way for commercial transport of astronauts to the space station, while the agency looks forward to deep space missions to the moon and to Mars. The nomination was a result of years of preparation for the historic launch and multiple live broadcasts from NASA and SpaceX facilities across the country during each phase of the Crew Dragon's mission to the International Space Station and its stunning return to Earth. Throughout NASA's coverage, the agency and SpaceX engaged social media users around the world and at a local social media influencer gatherings at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And I got to be a part of just such a social media gathering when our coffee was sent up to space last year. And I have basically a sizzle reel from NASA and JPL about this historic first mission and how it led to an Emmy win.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff. This wasn't just one moment. It was a spark, signaling a new era of human achievement was dawning. Millions were transfixed as the Crew Dragon rose and lit up the night sky, a spacecraft designed for humans by a commercial company and destined for the International Space Station, a sight not seen on U.S. shores since the wheels stopped on the iconic Space Shuttle program. And every step of this journey was shared around the world, thanks to an unprecedented partnership between NASA and SpaceX. Years of planning went into our interactive coverage of this historic launch, known as Demo 1. From traditional outlets like NASA TV, NASA.gov, and SpaceX.com, to social media giants like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and even to unique targeted content, such as NASA's Rocket Ranch podcast. The story of Demo 1 was immersive, informative, and interactive. NASA and SpaceX's simulcast of the Demo 1 mission garnered millions of views on YouTube, NASA TV, and other broadcasting and social media platforms, the largest audience for a launch in the past 3 years. More than 100 social media influencers from across the country were invited by NASA to enjoy and share with the world an unmatched experience, seeing a rocket launch live and in person. They came to Florida and saw a behind-the-scenes tour of NASA's iconic Kennedy Space Center, engaged their followers by asking NASA and SpaceX experts questions received from their own social media followers, and felt the amazing moment when the Falcon 9 lifted off from pad 39A, the very same pad that launched Apollo 11 to the moon.
We have a liftoff on Apollo 11.
8 of the top 10 most engaging social media posts happened during coverage of the spacecraft's docking with the International Space Station. And throughout it all, we interacted with our audience by answering questions they submitted by using the hashtag AskNASA during the broadcast. We also crafted a behind-the-scenes storyline, an introduction to Ripley, the anthropomorphic test device giving a first-hand look into what humans would experience for their ride to space.
Capture confirmed. On behalf of Ripley, Little Earth, myself, and our crew, welcome to the Crew Dragon.
The Demo 1 mission coverage was a triumph, proving we are on the path to returning human spaceflight to the U.S.
And there we have confirmation of splashdown.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
So cool. And the second award that NASA got was for NASA's JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, winning the Outstanding Original Interactive Program for coverage of NASA's InSight mission to Mars. And InSight is the lander that just landed on Mars and is now collecting some of the most cutting-edge scientific data we've ever been able to gain from the red planet, which is really cool. InSight is the first mission to study the deep interior of Mars using an ultra-sensitive seismometer, a heat flow probe, and other instruments. InSight is managed by NASA by JPL, and they actually, this isn't the first time they won an Emmy. They won the 2018 Emmy Award of the same name, Outstanding Original Interactive Programming, for Cassini's grand finale mission as it burned up in the atmosphere of Saturn. But again, here is a fun little sizzle reel for the Emmy consideration of the InSight mission to Mars.
This is how NASA brought the world along on a robot's journey to the heart of Mars. The InSight spacecraft was dispatched to study deeper into the red planet than ever before. After 7 months in space, the landing was broadcast on NASA's OTT platform. The programming was complemented with a live interactive 360 video, giving viewers a front row seat inside mission control, experiencing the anxiety, hope, and
Touchdown confirmed.
finally, elation of a successful Mars landing. Excited fans joined 1 million live viewers on streaming platforms and were further empowered to tell their own stories via an interactive press kit on the InSight website, where prior to launch, 2.4 million fans signed up to have their names inscribed on silicon chips attached to InSight. where they will remain on Mars forever. Celebrations shared from around the world were integrated into the live show as the Mars landing hashtag trended #1 worldwide, beating out hashtag Cyber Monday on Cyber Monday, while Insight found her voice on Twitter. And the account rocketed to over 500,000 followers in 2 days. Next, NASA's Mars team, including top scientists and engineers, toured museums, libraries, and observatories, where audiences stepped into Martian environments via HoloLens. And kids and adults created Marsquakes with a fun, interactive jump station. During NASA's social in-person events, diverse groups of creators learned from the InSight mission team face-to-face. Among the attendees, an influential cartoonist, a hip-hop dancer, an award-winning musician, and an NBA All-Star shared stories on platforms of their choosing. We further deepen the connection to a mobile world with Experience Insight, an immersive app for all devices and desktop, where users explored the spacecraft, deployed science instruments, and got a look at Mars from a robot's point of view. People didn't just find insight in the App Store, but brought the human story with them as well, with the On a Mission podcast. In the end, our dreams of future human exploration ride within the lore of these missions. And by connecting story with the immersive and interactive, we become part of them. NASA thanks you for your consideration. Our journeys are yours.
So congratulations to NASA and JPL and everybody involved for not only creating some of the coolest and best and most interesting space exploration missions that we've seen in the last few years, but winning awards for their coverage of it and their interactiveness of it. I've said it before, I feel that we are in a golden age of science and space exploration where all generations are enamored by it again, and we're all looking to the stars and excited for new possibilities and new missions and new discoveries, and it's just really cool. You can, like I said, you walk down the street and every other person you see is sporting a NASA pin or a NASA hat or something, or a NASA t-shirt, and it's really cool that we're all excited about space once again. Super cool, right? Like, I love that we're getting more data about stuff from other places in the universe that are coming to our solar system, and I'm going to keep you guys informed on that one as well. And obviously, congratulations to NASA on those Emmy wins. Super, super awesome. Before I answer some of your questions, I just wanted to remind you guys, you all have a chance to win a mug on any platform you're watching tonight, whether it's Facebook Live, over on twitch.tv, or over for the first time ever on our YouTube Live over on the Death Wish Coffee Company YouTube page. All you got to do is drop a comment, join the conversation, and one lucky comment will be picked at random on each of these platforms at the end of the show to win one of our St. Patrick's Day mugs. And I did want to just mention again, that's kind of why we have gotten into the game of simulcasting, because we've been doing this show live on Facebook for a very long time, and Facebook just is a platform that we love and we're never going to leave, but it's not built for all of the awesome stuff we want to do over there. So I know a lot of you guys watching on Facebook never have a problem, and that's awesome, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're going to keep doing this on Facebook all the time. But anybody who might be getting a lag, or, you know, the feed isn't working for you because Facebook servers are unreliable, you can go on over to twitch.tv, create a free account over there and watch us on Twitch, or you can go on over to YouTube. And speaking of Jason Lee, I saw you over on YouTube. You were saying that you were watching the show up on your television, and that's what's really cool.
That is really cool.
Because most smart TVs and like Apple Television and Amazon Fire Sticks and like that kind of stuff, they all have YouTube built right into them. So that's cool. I think that's really neat. We're almost like a television show now.
We're on the big medium screen.
The medium screen.
Yay!
Let's see. What else did I get? Over on YouTube, Amanda Power, you asked about, are we going to do a Halloween mug from Death Wish Coffee this year? Yes.
We are.
And I'm going to give you details very soon about it. Bongs42 over on Twitch, great name. You asked if Death Wish Coffee would ever do a Ghostbusters mug. I would love to do all the nerdy mugs in the world.
True.
But the legal battle would be just so expensive to do stuff like that.
Lot of money.
We work really close with a company called Sideshow Collectibles that makes some of the coolest statues and collectible figurines out there. And they have the hardest time procuring the rights for some of the stuff they want to do. They have the rights to make Marvel, DC, Star Wars, that kind of stuff. But one of the biggest things they've always wanted to make and they've never been able to legally get the rights for is Game of Thrones.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
It would be so sick, but just the amount of money that they had to put up just to go through the legal process to do it, it just hasn't really worked out in their favor. But maybe soon.
Maybe as we get farther away from the show being on and stuff.
Right, exactly. It might go down. Joe Barr over on Facebook, you asked, how do we know if we win a mug? Well, I just announced it again, but I'll say it one more time. Any platform you're watching, make sure you join the conversation. Join in on this awesome conversation on any platform, and one lucky comment will win one of these mugs. And Shannon and I will sign it for you.
That makes them even better.
Makes it even better.
Our autographs are worth at least a quarter.
At least a quarter. And let's see. Oh, David Traxler over on Facebook asked, because we were talking about the science segment, if he wondered if there was Death Wish coffee, if they were drinking Death Wish coffee on the Orville. Have you caught the Orville yet on Fox? It's Seth MacFarlane's love letter to Star Trek, basically. It's a pretty funny show. I can tell you with 100% certainty, I don't know if any of the actors or the characters are actually drinking Death Wish coffee, but everybody who makes the special effects are definitely drinking Death Wish coffee.
There we go. That's sweet.
We had the CEO of Fuse FX on this very podcast, and you can go back and listen to that interview. It was absolutely incredible, and they do the special effects for the Orville. They do it for Amazon The Tick, The Walking Dead, American Horror Story. The list goes on, and we talk all about special effects, but they are all fueled by death, which is really, really cool. Let's see. What else did I see that I wanted to comment on? Oh, over on Twitch, Dreadwolf and Liquid Caffeine, you guys both brought up the space elevator. Have you heard of the space elevator?
No, but I saw those comments and was very confused.
So I heard about this, I want to say a year or two ago, that there were ideas to make an elevator that could go to space, which seems not only like science fiction, but fucking scary, right? So I didn't know that they were talking about this again. So that's really cool that you guys have heard new news about it. I'm definitely going to do some research and look that up.
Not a fan.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Over on Facebook again, Kyle O'Quinn was eagle-eyeing our new shelf back here. And I think it's behind Shannon right now, but was asking if one of the pops behind you was a Kevin Smith pop, and it definitely is.
Where are the pops?
They're back there. There they are. Yep, one's the Night King. One's the Night King from Game of Thrones, and the other one is a Kevin Smith pop. And that Kevin Smith pop is a Secret Stash exclusive from his comic shop in Red Bank, New Jersey. And that was given to me by Mike Zapsik and Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men, two good friends of this show as well. And finally, I saw Brian Jenkins say this on Facebook, but I actually saw some comments over on Twitch and YouTube about this too. Whenever we talk about space, people are always like, well, what are we going to do when we get to Mars? Are they going to be able to grow coffee on Mars? Definitely go back on Fueled by Deathcast, wherever you want to listen or watch it. You can watch it on YouTube, or you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever it is, and find our episode where I got to interview Dr. Michio Kaku. Michio Kaku is an incredible theoretical physicist, and he knows so much about space and space exploration. And I asked him that question. I said,
point blank,
how the hell can we grow coffee on Mars? Is it going to be feasible? What do we have to do to make it happen? And he basically gave us all the steps to do it. So it's pretty neat. So you definitely want to check that out.
Neato.
Thanks for your cheering over there. Neato.
It is a cool episode.
Oh, I love Shannon. So, again, thank you guys all so much for joining the show. And every single week, if this is your first time joining the show, I want to explain this next segment. The next segment is the Death Star of the Week. Every single week, I like to highlight one of you out there, somebody who we are connected by our mutual love of the world's strongest coffee. And it's very easy if you'd like to be a part of this segment. All you got to do is hit up Fueled by Deathcast. That's at Fueled by Deathcast on Instagram, Twitter, or on Facebook. And just let me know you want to be a Death Star. And it takes 10 minutes of your time. We record it on video, and I edit it and put it out on a future show. And you get a Fueled by Deathcast mug for being on it. It's that easy to do. So if you want to do it, hit me up on any of those social media platforms. And that's why I love doing this segment every week. So this week, if you've never met Andrew Goebel, you're going to meet him right now.
Good, good. It is a fully operational Death Star of the Week.
Andrew, thank you so much for joining me on the Death Star segment today. And I'm going to start like I always do. I want to know, when did you first hear about Deathwish Coffee? Either the coffee or the company, and do you remember the year that was?
Oh, geez. I want to say it was probably like 2.5, 3 years ago I heard about it. Packaging at first terrified me. I was a little skeptical at first at trying it. I'm not into trying something new. And then I ended up actually buying a bag, and ever since then, that's all I drink.
Awesome. Were you a big coffee drinker before you found Deathwish?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I was drinking coffee.
This guy, too.
Yeah.
For sure. So what is your preferred brewing method, your go-to when you brew coffee?
I prefer cold brew, but when I brew hot, I do 10-cup drip. That's it.
Oh,
Nothing fancy.
Awesome. And the other side of Deathwish Coffee, where we pride ourselves on a good cup of coffee, but we also love what you can put it in. And I always ask, do you collect the mugs at all?
I do. I actually only have 4, I believe, right now. I'm slowly, if my wife allows it, lets me get a new one here or there.
I hear you. What was the first mug you got that was a Deathwish mug?
It was the diner set.
Oh, nice.
It was the one where it says, I brewed coffee for you and I drank it for you too.
Yep. I love that one. I love that one. And then on the other side of it, and this doesn't have to be a Deathwish mug at all, do you have a favorite mug that you drink out of all the time?
I do. My wife had bought me last year a 90s mug. It's got Rugrats on it, Hey Arnold, Ren and Stimpy. That is my all-time favorite go-to mug.
That's so rad. I'm a big cartoon fan myself, especially the 90s cartoons, so excellent.
Yeah.
So then the final question I get to here on the Death Star segment is you've been a fan of the company for a couple years now. You've seen what we've done with our coffee and our merchandise. Is there anything that we haven't tried, that you haven't seen us try, that you'd like to see us try?
As far as merchandise and apparel go, I'd like to see a fitted hat that says Fresh to Death on it.
Ooh.
With the little logo on the front.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can comment on that, actually. We've had a handful of people say that they'd want a fitted hat because we've come out with a couple different styles of the new era hats, and they're the snapbacks. And I like those, but I'm with you. I wear a lot of fitted hats, and it is something we're looking into because a lot of people like yourself have been saying that it would be something cool to do, and I hope we do it. I hope we do it maybe next year.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, I can't thank you enough for taking time and talking with me. I love getting a chance to talk to everybody in this amazing community, all because we just happen to like the same coffee.
Absolutely.
So cool. And like I said, anybody who'd like to be on that segment, just hit me up at Fueled by Deathcast on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And speaking of that, I saw over on Twitch, the Oblivion Shadow, you said that you sent me a tweet wanting to be a Deathstar, and I can't find it.
He checked. I watched.
The best way to do it is to direct message at Fueled by Deathcast wherever it is, because if you're just gonna tweet at me, sometimes I try to check Twitter every day, but
I never check Twitter
from me. In fact, I hadn't checked Twitter in a couple days, and I went on Twitter today and found out that the Carter family's fighting. So that happened.
The more you know.
The more you know. So yeah, just resend me something, and we'll work that out. Also, I wanted to mention over on YouTube, Charlene Gibson, you asked what we are going to do with the pics that you guys took in stores. In grocery stores. And if you guys don't know this, we put out the call to action on the Death Wish social media that if you find Death Wish coffee in a retail store, because we're doing so much more in retail now.
Many stores.
Our K-Cups are in Walmart. A lot of grocery stores around America not only carried the K-Cups, but also the whole bean in the ground. And we've got cold brew now appearing in a lot of different stores.
Too.
Pumpkin. So if you see it out there in the wild, we'd love to get a photo of not only it on a shelf, but you, like, really excited.
Death Wish in the wild.
And what we're going to do with those is basically we're using those. We're going to do two things. We're going to use those in some social ads.
Yep.
And stuff like that within the next few months. We're gonna cherry pick some of those and really kind of use them to target new areas that we're not in. And we're also gonna use those as part of decks for wholesale, because wholesale is a whole job in itself. And shout out to Dave and Eric and their incredible job of getting us
Dave, Eric
into all these stores. But it's really cool when we can show new stores that there are rabid fans out there who love us in the stores that we're already in, and boy, your store should totally carry ours, right?
It's kind of like
that
good selling point.
Yeah, it's kind of like that reverse, psychology kind of thing. So that's what we're doing with those, and I hope that helps with that question. Finally, another eagle eye out there. I love it when you guys catch stuff, and I'm gonna bring this out front because people have actually talked about this a lot. The Crazy Dirty Blonde, great name, by the way, over on YouTube, asked if that's an ammo box behind us on the shelf.
How do you guys how do you see this stuff? Oh, there it is. I don't even see it. Maybe. Don't put it on the mugs.
I can do what I want. Yeah, it is an ammo box. This is a one-of-a-kind thing. An incredible fan whose name escapes me gifted this to Mike Brown. And it was just so cool. It actually is a real ammo box, and it had the smaller box inside of it, and both of them were embossed. Mike's got the smaller one in his office. And
is there anything in it?
No, he just gave me this one to put on the shelf.
Huh. Interesting. There we go. We have a comment from Peter on YouTube asking, any chance of creating a Death Wish coffee thermos? We actually have multiple thermos-style mugs on our website. Go to deathwishcoffee.com. We have a Stanley thermos, 2 Clean Canteen. One's Death Wish, one's Valhalla. Mm-hmm. We have a cold cup, too, if you prefer cold coffee.
Our Clean Canteens are incredible. That company's amazing. It'll keep your coffee hot forever. And
forever.
That's like a normal travel mug canister. But the Stanley thermos is a jet black Stanley thermos, 25 ounces. It's awesome, and it'll last you for the rest of your life. In fact, there's a video right on the page there on deathwishcoffee.com that me and Dustin did. We put it through the paces. We ran it over with a Jeep. We hit it with the War Club. We threw it off a tall building.
Never seen this.
Really?
I'm gonna do that later.
I'll have to bring it up. Yeah. And it's in fact, I have it.
Ran it over with a Jeep. That's the destroyed one?
This is the destroyed one, and it still holds coffee. The cap still works.
I thought you were there was still coffee in it right now.
No. But I mean, like it'll still hold coffee. It's just scuffed up a little bit. This got dented a little bit, but other than that, it's built to last. It's built to last.
So many things up there.
So many things. And thank you guys so much for joining the show and commenting on all the different platforms. This is the first time that we've went live on YouTube, and I can't believe you guys are all here.
It's going
over on
swimmingly.
YouTube. It's really awesome. Tons of people over on YouTube, tons of people on Twitch, and of course, the OG, everybody over here on Facebook as well. Woo! Thank you all for tuning in. We love doing this show every single week. So I wanted to take a second and put Shannon on blast. Because your your family got some really awesome news lately. And can we preface this a little bit?
We can preface this.
All right.
How would you like to preface it?
Well, explain before you just come out and
In
right and say
1993, I was born.
Yes. Let's dig in.
So, if you guys don't know, I know a lot of you watching do know, my dad was a former NFL player from the early 80s to the late 90s. He played for 16 NFL seasons for the New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Seattle Seahawks.
There he is for the Jets. Here,
There
wait,
he
I'll
is,
move it.
my-
No, I'll move it.
There's my dad,
nope.
before he was a dad.
Before he was a dad. There you
So
go.
a few weeks ago, we found out that he was nominated to be selected for the New York Jets all-time team. So it was an honor for him to even be nominated, because that was the team that gave him, his first job. They drafted him in the second round as an offensive lineman, which today is pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
Played there for 11 seasons. I lived in Long Island while he played. Was born there before we went to Seattle, and then to finish his career with the Steelers. But the voting opened. I shared it with a lot of you guys, and I know a lot of you voted. We found out yesterday that he was selected. So he is officially a member of the New York Jets all-time team.
So a lot of sportscasters and writers will kind of come up with their own, throughout the years. Like, if you like sports, baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, you've probably read articles where a sports writer's like, let's make the all-time Bulls team or the all-time New York Yankees team or whatever, and people have done it for the Jets many, many times. This is the official New York Jets all-time team of players from the club itself and voted on by the players and the fans. And your dad is a part of that, and that is incredible. We don't know.
He's so happy. I'm so proud of him.
The Jets haven't actually announced the full roster, but I'm just going to kind of probably guess that the quarterback is Joe Namath.
I hope.
Probably gonna guess that that's the one, right?
Yeah.
But once we find out more about that, we'll obviously tell you guys more as that comes out. But if you guys want to learn more about your dad, Jim was a guest on this show 2 episodes ago, actually. So go on over to Fueled by Deathcast again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Music, or in full video on the Death Wish Coffee YouTube page, which a lot of you guys are on right now.
Yeah. And a big thank you to a lot of you. I saw a lot of posts when I shared the link on my personal Facebook from a lot of people from the official Death Wish Coffee company community page sharing, encouraging their friends to vote for my dad too. And that means a ton to me. So thank you guys so much. Every vote counted for that. So he won because of you guys, which is great.
It's really
Thank
awesome.
you.
And I keep telling Shannon, here's the thing. So he's on the New York Jets all-time team with obviously the greatest names that have ever graced that field and that club, right? And I just think this is the next step to get him into that Hall of Fame.
I would like that.
Because he's already in his hometown Hall of Fame, correct?
Yep, he's in the Western Pennsylvania Hall of Fame and the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame.
Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super awesome. But, I mean, the National Football League Hall of Fame, that's the pinnacle. That's the one that you get the gold jacket and everything.
Get Jim to the Hall of Fame.
Hashtag Jim
If
Hall
he
of
heard
Fame.
me call him Jim right now, he would yell at me.
I can call him
You
Jim.
can call him Jim.
You
He
have to
yells
call-
at me.
You have to call him Dad. Big
Dad.
Big Weezer fan, by the way.
He is a big Weezer fan.
Yes. So, speaking of the podcast, tomorrow is a brand new episode of Fueled by Deathcast with my interview with Niles Dineen. And Dineen Pottery is an incredible second-generation business that makes these incredible mugs right in front of you. They started out very modestly in the 70s with Niles' dad, and he was making a handful of mugs, and he had 4 colors of glazes. And as Niles tells the story on the podcast, the business actually failed. And Niles' father went to go work for a different potter and was like, maybe this isn't for me. And after a year was like, no, I'm trying this again. And now they make over 600,000 mugs a year.
That's a lot of mugs.
Which is incredible, including all of the hand-thrown mugs that Death Wish Coffee does, and so many others, like my coveted NASA mug that so many of you guys like. This incredible mug that Niles himself gifted me, and it's from the Satanic Temple in Salem. And it's just amazing the amount of stuff they get to do there. And this interview with Niles is great because we talk about the inception of the company and how our relationship has grown with Death Wish and Dineen, and how they are doing a lot. I didn't know this. They're doing a lot to reduce their carbon footprint in the world.
They are. They have solar panels
They have
now.
solar panels on their building. They use a lot of biodegradable and recycled materials.
Right. And they're making huge strides.
Huge strides. But one of the coolest things is how exactly a mug is created. Because I even say in the episode, you and I, who aren't potters, the only thing I know about pottery... Yeah. The only thing I know about pottery is Ghost. And Patrick Swayze all as a ghost, all making pottery. Yeah, it's before your time. I get it. But that's not the case. And it's really, really interesting how Dineen starts with a block of clay and goes through all the steps to make it here. And I've got a very special sneak peek of that entire explanation as part of the entire interview that comes out tomorrow with Niles right here.
Fueled by Deathcast.
Can we walk through that process?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the bigger, huge manufacturing facilities that are pumping out tons of mugs, that is slip cast. So it is a mold, liquid clay. They do that.
Right.
That's not how we choose to do it. No. So I mean, when we start with logs of clay that we extrude because we process our own clay in house. We cut them up into the perfect bite-sized pieces. Our potters will stack up like 200 or 300 pieces. So in the morning, you walk past the potter's lane, and it's just everyone's got huge piles of clay. Halfway through the day, halfway gone. End of the day, all gone. Whoa. So it's just, I mean, that transformation is amazing. But once a pot is thrown, we let it set for a day. When it comes out the next day, we'll apply a handle, put a medallion on it. We'll let it air dry for 3 days. Then we bisque fire it to 1600 degrees. It takes about 16 hours. Comes out. We do a quality inspection. We'll paint the medallion to pop out the detail. Then it moves through, and I'm doing this, it moves through. Because our building, as we've grown over time, is just like, oh, that was a conference room. Oh, now that's a glazed storage area. Oh, that was where we used to hold cardboard. Oh, no, that's the glazing area now.
Yeah.
But the pots then move through, and then we apply glaze, which is done through suction. So we'll take a mug and we'll dip it into a bucket, pull it out. That's a solid in one of these guys.
Okay.
And if it's a marble, then you got to wait for the glaze to dry a little bit, and then you will dip just the top in 1 or 2 more dips.
Oh, so cool.
And then you remove the glaze off the front in the medallion, and obviously if you dipped it in, glaze is covering the whole thing, and you don't want it on the foot, so then you got to wipe off the foot. Then you stack it into a kiln that fires for another 24 hours, and you never want to touch a mug after it comes right out of the kiln.
Will it just crumble?
Well, you can crack the doors at like 800, but if you were to open the doors at full temp, I mean, the thermal shock would ripple through and it would just be like... But there's a few times when you open it at like 400 and you're really just anxious to get some stuff out, and you know, if you reach in there and pot's like 400 degrees, I mean, you put it down, you have no fingerprints.
Right.
Not a good thing.
Nothing.
No. So then we'll, after it cools, then you take it back into the shipping department where we'll inspect it again, grind the bottom, make sure it's super silky smooth, pack it in boxes and ship it out. So all in all, I mean, from start to finish, it's the time it takes is, you know, about 21 business days, so 3-4 weeks. But when you have orders that are stacked up, then it just takes a little bit longer.
Right, exactly. Where in that process, because one of the things that our fans love is we number our mugs, except for the yearly mugs, you know, and then also when they are mugs that are, you know, like let's say numbered out of 5,000, whenever you get to those even hundreds, you sign them.
That's Dad.
Your dad signs them.
I've done it once.
You've done it once.
I've done it once.
That's why I was going to say, I've seen video of you signing them. So when does that in the process happen, when you number and then sometimes sign the bottom?
Right before the first firing.
Right before the first one.
During that 3 days of sort of the drying time, they'll go from being leather hard to being sort of like more, it's like just harder, less water. It's not fun to number them when they've dried too long because they get scratchy. But if you can find that perfect little time when the clay just comes up like little noodles, it's so fun. Wow! But Dad digs that. He digs that.
That's so cool.
Like
I said, our fan base loves it. The posting the photos like, I got a signed one.
No,
this time,
I mean, that's one of the coolest things is when you get to see that back because you put out. I mean, it's like every even 100.
Yeah.
And maybe 5 of those I've seen. So if you've got those, if you've got a hand signed one, we'd love to see those. Post them up, share them up.
Tag Dineen Pottery.
That'd be cool to see them for real.
For real. And then also I wanted to ask, because you were talking about some of the different things in that process. You add the handles later.
Yeah.
So are the handles handled?
The handles are handled. We extrude handles. So if you've ever played with Play-Doh,
yep,
and they have that little kind of deal, you put it in, you put the little template you want, you squish it down, and it comes out. So we have one of those that produces the handles themselves, and then we cut them into 6-inch lengths. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple days I have not done throwing, but I've done handle applying, I've done medallion applying, I've done glazing, I've done scrubbing, I've stacked kilns. The one thing I haven't been had enough time to develop is to sit down and willing to throw uniform mugs. It's just a different task. I also can't do balloon animals, so don't ask.
Okay, done. That was gonna be the second part of this now.
But put on a handle is super cool because you just have this nice little ribbon of clay,
right?
And then we sort of score, and then we smooth it out, and then you put it down, and then as you're putting it, it's like perfect because the mug is leathered hard, so you've got some rigidity there.
Yep.
But then you want to make sure that it's straight and level, so you got to look at it a couple ways, and then you got to make sure that you got the right bend. So if you've ever looked at it, this is because someone's hand is going like that, that is the handle. And if you're not careful and you put it down, and you do your next one, you get like, yeah, I got that one, that's good. And if you hit it like that, it's messed up.
Over, yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not careful, you'll see mugs that'll look like that. Not ours, because we'll catch it. Just because you can't put out product that doesn't look good.
Exactly. Super, super cool. And like I said, tune in tomorrow. I 100% say tune in and watch it on the Deathwish Coffee Company YouTube page. But if you just want to listen to it, it's also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Music, wherever podcasts are found. That is going to be our Dineen Pottery episode with Niles Dineen. And I did want to mention, I saw a lot of people commenting on how cool that footage was. That was directly from Dineen. It was so amazing. And
so satisfying.
Yeah. And Rattlehead74 over on Twitch, you said it's cool because everyone gets a one-off mug. And it's the truth because not only, as you can see in front of you, these 3 mugs, all the handles are slightly different because they're forming them to there. And then when they glaze them, the glazes, as you can see, all come out a little.
It's nuts.
Just a little bit different. So they're like snowflakes. Everything is a little bit
like
different.
Snowflakes.
Yeah. I did see a bunch of comments on all 3 platforms about how many times that Niles' dad, Peter, signs the mugs. And so with Deathwish, we normally do a run of let's say a couple thousand mugs. Every time there's 100, he signs the mug. So 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. And he'll put that signature on the bottom of that mug.
That's so cool.
So that's really neat when you get one of those. And if you ever do, make sure you post it on social media and tag @Dineen Pottery. Because they love to see that kind of stuff too. It was really, really cool to talk to Niles. I cannot wait for you guys to check all that out tomorrow. Speaking of mugs,
we have one coming tomorrow. Some of you might have gotten it today if you're a coffee subscriber, but pumpkin mug.
Pumpkin mug.
Pump it up.
So, let you guys know, and this is if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, and I do see a lot of people I've seen comment that this is the first time you guys have joined the show, so welcome.
Welcome, man.
And this is how our mug releases work. So this is being released tomorrow to the general public. This will be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys know that because you're watching the Fueled by Death show. We let you know the minute a mug is released as soon as we can give you that date and that time. And that's going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other way, if you guys live in the United States, you can text MUGS, M-U-G-S, to 484848, and you'll get a text message right at that time with a link to buy in your smartphone. And it's that easy to do that as well.
Heck yeah.
We're working on international texting rates. Right now, the service we have only does the U.S., so we're sorry to all of our international friends. But you probably heard, if you are a coffee subscriber to Death Wish Coffee, a lot of people were able to buy this mug today.
You'll get it. Early access.
That's an amazing perk, right?
Right.
What are all the perks you get as a
What
subscriber?
are all the perks? Let's go through them. When you sign up for a coffee when you sign up for a coffee subscription, which want to start out by saying that is different than subscribing to our email newsletter. So coffee subscription is when you get your coffee sent to you on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly basis. So you sign up for a coffee subscription, you automatically get 20% off coffee products for your subscription. For cold brew, you get 15% off. You'll get a welcome kit for activating a subscription that has a bandana, a note welcoming you to the Society of Strong Coffee, and you'll get freebies in your packages as well. But one of the best perks, my personal favorite perk, a lot of peas.
Pumpkin.
For pumpkin is you get early access to our mug releases. So you'll get an email the day before a full mug release giving you a link and a password to a mug page. And you'll copy and paste your password in, and bam, you can buy the mug earlier than anyone else. So if it's an extremely limited run, which this is 3,500 made, you get a better chance of getting a mug. Sometimes these mugs freaking fly.
And this one flew. As the subscriber release, I'm going to tell you right now, we went through about half of that. So there's only half left starting tomorrow. So if you guys want one of these mugs, or 2 or 3 or 5, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, deathwishcoffee.com. Get this mug tomorrow.
Yay!
And I'm just going to comment one more time because I've seen a lot of comments about this. This is not our Halloween mug. We have a Halloween mug coming out right on the heels of this, and you guys are going to flip out because not only is it probably one of my favorite mugs that we've ever done here at this company.
Of all time.
I think it's something that, I don't think I've ever seen Dineen Pottery do something like this.
Same.
It's going to be crazy.
Epic!
And we're going to tell you about it next week. We'll tell you about that next week, so you're definitely going to want to tune into next week's show. But coming very soon, and you might have seen Shannon in this on the Friday Live if you tune into our contests.
It's not a knife, I promise. You got it there?
I do.
Hockey jersey!
Woo!
Bow, 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 bow.
Talk about it.
This is the second edition of our hockey jersey coming out within the next few weeks. It's hard to concentrate when you do that. So if you were a fan of Death Wish Coffee last year, we released a very limited number of custom-made Death Wish hockey jerseys. And we sold out of them in 2 hours. So we decided to do another run of Death Wish jerseys. These are a little bit different than the first edition, a little more white detailing. And we have one of the OG logos as the patch on the left chest, and the number 12 on the back, which is the same as the first jersey, but that commemorates the year in which Death Wish Coffee was founded.
Yes.
But these are legit hockey jerseys. If you play hockey, you can wear these over your pads. So if you want to, I definitely recommend getting a smaller size if you want it to fit more like a sweatshirt. But if you get your regular size that you would for like hockey pads, it'll fit.
That one I was just holding up is a small, and it fits me like a large or an extra large of a sweatshirt. So, it fits like a hockey jersey because it's supposed to have pads on there. They are incredibly limited run because we did a limited run first. You guys really liked it. We had a lot of people wanting another one. And these, I'm just going to tell you, it takes a lot to make these. We had to vet a lot of companies to make a really, really nice one.
Like a legit one.
Yeah, and it is a high price point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys bought the first one, you know that it's over $100 because And that goes for anything. If you're going out and just buying a normal hockey of your favorite hockey team, you're spending that
right
for sure.
And I know we're kind of hard to see on the camera, but everything's stitched. So the
Yes.
patch is stitched. The numbers are stitched on. It's not a cheap material. It is like a legit. Like if you went in to buy an NHL jersey, it would be of this quality.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So,
all right,
pumped.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. We're gonna show you something that nobody's seen.
Ever.
We haven't talked about this. We only talked about this with one person because we had to make sure that he was okay with it. And that is Father Zach.
Father Zach.
We called up Zach Wild and we said, look, we want to do this, but we want to make sure that you like this before we release it to the masses.
I think they're going to like it.
He really, really liked it. So we're really excited to give you Yup. You guys wanted it. We're doing it. Fire. Valhalla, Java, Zippo.
You guys asked for it. Stop.
Here's a better photo of that photo at the end there. There it is. We are so friggin' excited to release this. There are only going to be 1,000 of these made. They will be numbered from Zippo. I did see a comment, will he sign it? No, unfortunately. We won't be able to get Zach to sign it because he's out on tour right now. But if you buy one and you go and catch him at playing a Zach Sabbath or a Black Label Society show and go to the meet and greet afterwards, he will gladly sign this for you. For sure.
Yay.
We are so excited to release this. This will be released in just a few weeks. And I had to do the hero shot with Zach's guitar behind me here. And also, what you heard, obviously, was Zach Wild doing an incredible guitar solo. Actually, it was from 2011 when he was on tour with Ozzy.
Hot.
Yes, it's hot. It's a lighter. It gets hot. If you didn't get a chance to get our Death Wish coffee Zippo, I believe there's still some available on the website. Maybe they're sold out. I can't remember. You can go on over to deathwishcoffee.com and find out if we still have some or not. People were really excited about those. But this one is going to be super coveted. I know that a lot of you guys are going to want it, and all of Zach's fans are going to want it too. So you guys are doing the right thing.
It's pretty freaking sweet.
You're tuned in right here. You guys are going to know when that's going to come. And one more time, don't forget to tune into the podcast tomorrow for the full interview with Niles Dineen from Dineen Pottery. That podcast, audio form, goes out everywhere at 6 a.m., wherever podcasts are found, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Music, whatever else. And then later in the day, it will appear on the Death Wish Coffee Company YouTube page in full video and video clips. And then later on Facebook and everywhere else as well. So you're definitely going to want to watch that entire thing. And make sure you come back and tune into the show next week because we're going to have a lot more fun and a lot more stuff to talk about.
Another surprise.
And surprises because we're definitely going to drop some knowledge about this year's
dropping knowledge.
This year's Halloween mug that you guys are going to flip out about. Oh my gosh.
Yay!
It's so exciting. So thank you all so much for joining the show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thanks to everybody over on YouTube. For the first time ever, we were live on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
We're going to keep doing that as well. Thank you guys to all of you guys over on Twitch. We love you on Twitch. And, of course, everybody on Facebook. Love you to death. We'll see you next week on the show. And don't forget to tune in Friday for the live on our contest winners. Every single Friday, Sierra gives away free coffee for a month, free cold brew, and a lot of other stuff like a hockey jersey. Deathwishcoffee.com/contest. We'll see you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.